A Wichita native says the bulk of his time in the Vietnam War was spent with boots on the ground.
Gwen Bevel and photojournalist Nick Kiefer have their story.
Eric Hutcherson played basketball and was on the track team in college. He says he decided to take one semester off and work instead. That's when his draft notice was delivered.
I got my little greetings from Uncle Sam, so.
So it was off to basic training for Eric Hutcherson. After that, he went on to officer training at Fort Benning. Then he headed to Vietnam.
We landed and we got off the plane, and that heat and that odor it just takes over. It just knocks you down for a few seconds.
Hutcherson says monsoon season was especially difficult.
It would rain all day and it'd be 120 degrees.
They spent about a month setting up these tents at home base, but they didn't spend much time here.
Choppers would take us out and drop us off about 20 to 30 miles from wherever base camp was.
He says they were part of the pacification program.
We would go to villages and patrol and stuff like that during the day, and then at night we're out on ambush and doing other things.
They would stay in the bush for about a month or so at a time.
This is the guys this was after we came in for our 3 days.
He says those 3 days offered great reprieve from the jungle, from USO shows to cold beers and playing cards or dominoes, even massages and steam baths. The troops spent that time bonding, and they formed lifelong friendships.
Those are like my other brothers.
He says there was Smitty from Toledo and Reese from Baltimore.
And that's Oscar Scurry there. Well, he was my road dog there. Whenever I came out of the field, we got together.
He says they were always thankful for Cole, their interpreter, who helped them on many missions.
I was just so impressed with his willingness to communicate with everybody, all the guys in the unit.
Hutcherson is thankful he captured so much of their time, and says their experiences traveling all over proved there really is no place like home.
Just to see how people in third world lived, it was kind of unique.
He says he gained so much perspective.
I was glad that I went later on, years and years later on.
He says it took time to heal from all they lived through.
Here we all are. The tour group.
This Kansas Honor Flight group was sure humbled by the welcome home they finally got, decades after they returned from war.
People make you feel so good about what you did, and that kind of makes up for a lot of stuff.
Hutcherson says they would even share meals with the people in the villages. He says when it came to the reception, they were either grateful American troops were there or they wish they would hurry up and get out. Here for you, Gwen Bevel, KSN News 3.
On behalf of Devon James Injury Lawyers, we're honored to be here with Sergeant Eric Hutcherson. Eric served our country in the United States Army and did a tour in Vietnam. Thank you so much for your service, Sergeant.
Thank you.
Veteran Salute is sponsored by the Devon James Injury Lawyers.